Hello, everyone. I wanted to create this meditation because I believe that as we live life and as we grow up, we hold on to old negative belief systems. Now, these may have been things that were told to us by our family, our friends, colleagues, or even just living life in general, things that we endure and things that we encounter. So I'd like for us to find a nice quiet place where we're isolated, in the sense that we're not going to be distracted and we're not going to be bothered. Second, you can either do this meditation while either seated or laying down, whichever is the most comfortable for you. And as we either sit down or we lay down, I'd like for our palms to be facing up towards the sky, so that way we can receive these amazing messages and we can release all the old that we no longer need. And lastly, this meditation is best heard by either using earbuds or headphones. Either way, whichever works best for you. So now close your eyes and let's do some breathing exercises. So first start by breathing in through the nose and out the mouth. Let's do it again. And breathe in through the nose and out the mouth. And last one, I want you to breathe it in and out the mouth. And now just breathe in your normal circadian rhythm of breathing. I'd like for you to see where you physically are sitting down, almost like you can see from a third-person view. And what we're going to do is we're going to have our spiritual body leave our physical body. Now don't worry, your physical body is safe, it is secured, it is not to be harmed. And I want you to start seeing your spiritual body starting to leave your physical body. It's floating up and out, and you can almost see an orb around your body, your physical body, that's protecting it. And as you raise higher, you can see the whole room that you're sitting in. And you float a little bit higher, you can start seeing the block that you live on. And as we float higher, you can start seeing the city that you live in. And as we float higher, we can start seeing the totality of the earth. And now we're just floating out in space. It's a weightlessness that you feel. Free of any harm, free of any overthinking, free of any anxiety, free of any pain. And I want for you to look in the distance, and I want you to notice that there's a throne. It's on a platform, and it's very beautiful. I want you to start feeling your body floating towards the throne and vice versa. The throne starts floating to you because you're connected. And as you get closer to that throne, you notice that there's a book on the right arm of that throne. Now, we step onto the platform and we make our way towards that throne. We start walking towards it. And we notice that the book is gold with a black edging. Now I want you to take a seat in the throne, and it's very comfortable. It's very luxurious because this is your throne. This is the one that you connect with along with your spirit. where you can start seeing things from a different perspective, a broader perspective, and you can see a whole picture, so to speak. Now, this book, I'd like for you to open it. And you can start feeling this energy coming out of the book. However, it's a very strong energy, and it's somewhat uncomfortable. And as we read the first page of the book, we look at what the chapters all are, the appendix. And I want you to notice that the chapters written are the name of people who have given you some kind of a negative feeling. They've given you maybe some anger, some fear, self-doubt. And these could be family members, friends, coworkers, or even people that maybe you've met out in the street. And as you see the names, I want you to feel some of the feelings you were going through at the time. This is going to be some anxiety, maybe a little bit of fear. And I want you to know that when you feel these feelings, as we go through this book, you're safe. You're no longer in that position. We're simply reading the chapter of a book. Your physical, spiritual, and mental well-being are all safe because you're no longer living that part of your life. Now, the first chapter I want you to flip to is going to be a family member. Maybe this is your mom, your dad, a brother, a sister, cousin perhaps, that has told you something when you were young, perhaps when you were a child or even a teenager, that really stuck with you, that you feel has had a negative impact in your life. So turn to that chapter now. And as we read this chapter, and as we start hearing these words and seeing these words, and perhaps even feeling these words, we're going to start feeling the emotions that were coming along with it. The fear, the anxiety, the shame. And what I want you to notice is that as we're reading this and as we're feeling this, there's a green flame that is to the left of our throne. Now, this green flame was sent by the universe, by God, to help burn away those old thought processes, the old words, the old sayings in this book. Because that is going to be transmuted. Those words, those phrases are going to be transmuted and burned away, so that way it can be used for another purpose, and it's burned away from all of its negative intention and negative energy. So what I want you to do is, when you're done reading the chapter, take the pages out, rip them out of that book, and I want you to throw them in that green fire. And as we see the flames engulf the pages, and we see the ashes rise out of the flames, we know that that old energy is now burned away, so it can be transmuted into new, beautiful energy for the universe to use. I want you to take a big, deep breath and release it. Next, I want us to find a chapter where a friend, and maybe this is when you're a little more grown up, maybe after your teens, even into your 20s, that a friend told you something that stuck with you in such a negative way that you held on to because perhaps at that time you believed it. So let's go to that chapter and read and feel what our friend had told us or friends have told us. And remember, these are just words. You're no longer there. You're simply reading a story. But as the emotions come up, the shame, the fear, the anxiety, I want us to see how that energy pulls out. And as we're tearing that page out and we throw it into that green fire, we see how it burns away and the ashes go out into the universe so it can be transmuted once again. And as we're doing this, I want you to feel how much lighter you're beginning to feel. I want you to feel how these negative emotions are no longer driving you from what your family and what your friends have said so far. So take a big deep breath and release it. And now the next chapter is I want us to find something that was said by a colleague, a boss, somebody in a higher level of authority than us, and go to that chapter. And again, we're going to read those words and hear those phrases and feel the negative emotion that ties in with that experience. And as we have these feelings, and as we tear out those pages and throw it into that green fire and see the ashes rise and dissipate into the eternal nothing, we know that what that person told us or what that higher level of authority told us can no longer impact us in that negative way. And feel how light you must feel and love it. Take a big deep breath and release it. And now for the last chapter of the book. The last chapter is simply titled You. Now these are the old beliefs and the old thought processes that are negative that you've put upon yourself and that you've told yourself throughout your life. And I want you to turn to that chapter. And I want you to hear the phrases and see the words and feel all the negative emotions that you've placed upon yourself. And again, it's okay to feel these feelings, but it's time to let them go. And as we feel them, And as we see these words, and as we joyfully tear these pages out and burn them away in the green fire, we take a big deep breath that is the most important deep breath that you've taken in this meditation. So, take a big deep breath and release it with a sigh. And I want us to now feel the energy of this book. It should feel like there's almost no energy in it anymore. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to hold this book in between our hands and put forth nothing but happy, loving, excited, and joyous, harmonious energy into this book. And I want you to see how the pages begin to refill, but with blank pages. And now I want you to feel the energy is very warm, very inviting, very strong, but very welcoming. And now, what I want you to do is, on the left arm of that chair, I want you to notice there's a gold pen that has now shown up. I want us to take this time to write down our new goals, our new positive things we're going to be saying about ourselves, and positive belief systems we have about ourselves. And let's take a minute and write them into this new book, into these new chapters. So let's take a minute and write those in. And as we're finishing up, I want us to know that we can always come back to this throne with this book and that pen. And we can always write in our new best belief systems. So we're going to leave the throne now, and it'll stay here for whenever you need it. We're going to put the book down, and as we step out of our throne, we notice that the green flame dissipates and disappears. And I want us to start getting the feeling of coming back into our physical body. So we can now see the earth. And we start moving closer. We start seeing the city that we live in. And then we notice the block that we live on. And then we notice the area or house that we're in. And we can start seeing our body again. The orb now starts to disappear, so that way we can enter our physical body once again. And as we're entering our body, we're going to count down from 5, 4, 3, start moving our hands and feet, wiggling our toes, 2, moving our shoulders, our back, 1, I want you to start moving your head up, down, left, right, and 0, I want you to finally open your eyes and take a big deep breath And release. Now you can do this meditation anytime you feel like life is beginning to tax on. And I want you to do this meditation anytime you feel like you've taken on negative energies or negative belief systems. And don't forget, you can always return to that throne and rewrite anything you need to. Anything that you feel needs changes, you go ahead and do it. You are powerful. You are strong. You are amazing. Have an amazing day. I love you all.